Hello and welcome to Rate That Character, a series where a member of the Source Gaming team gives their opinion on a character's chances at being playable in Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Switch. We lay out the pros and cons for each character and give a final score out of 100. Please do remember that these are our own individual opinions and do not reflect Sakurai, Nintendo, or even the thoughts of Source Gaming as a whole. With that out of the way, I'm the MangoViking, and let's see who today's character is. There seems to be two consistent criteria for retro characters: debut on a Nintendo platform in the 80s and be relatively unknown. But with more recent selections like Rob from Brawl, along with Duck Hunt and Little Mac from 3DS and Wii U, we're getting more recognizable 80s fighters. And if that's the case, then Excitebiker could be in the fast lane to Smash Bros. To start off, Excitebiker was one of several characters Sakurai considered for Melee. He chose Ice Climbers instead, but one of the reasons he passed on him was he found it difficult to incorporate his ramp for a recovery move. However, with Sonic, Mega Man, and Pac-Man all using platforms as the recovery moves, this shouldn't be a problem. Even once rejected characters have made it in years later, like Villager, Mies, and Pac-Man. One of Sakurai's concerns with any character is if they're recognized globally. He's turned down many characters before for being in Japanese-only games, so one way I try to measure global appeal is by looking at the lineup for the NES Mini and Famicom Mini. Any classic game worth their salt should appear on Nintendo's Greatest Hits collection. Sure enough, Excitebike appears on both consoles. To me, that signifies people are familiar with it enough globally for Nintendo to include it. Or at the very least, Nintendo believes it's important enough to include for both regions. Another indication that the game is appreciated within Nintendo is its inclusion as a course in Mario Kart 8 DLC. It's one thing for a game or character to get a background cameo appearance, but it's another to receive a significant piece of content. Despite being on the Wii U, Mario Kart 8 sold over 8 million copies. We don't have specific sales numbers on DLC, but plenty of people have at least seen the content, if not played it. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Switch, which included the DLC, also sold over 7 million copies. While it's uncertain if Sakurai was aware of this port while creating the roster, though the timing could easily overlap, there are a lot more eyes on this classic franchise within the last few years. With over 50 characters across Smash Bros., Excitebiker and Bowser Jr. are the only two to use a vehicle. The difference is that Bowser Jr. is technically in a mech, which has extendable arms and weapons. Meanwhile, Excitebiker, minus a jab or combo or grabs, would excessively use his bike to attack, like performing motocross tricks. It's something only he can do, fulfilling yet another one of Sakurai's criteria. There are solid reasons to include Excitebiker, but there's also some reasons he may get turned down. For one thing, he was already turned down in the past. Sure, Sakurai felt Ice Climbers were more interesting, but it's also possible he didn't think Excitebiker was that great on his own either. The biggest reason though is the lack of personality, one of Sakurai's criteria for including a character. Excitebiker isn't a person with specific traits or motivations, it's just a dude on a dirt bike. If he had a suit exclusive to him, that would help, but minus some colored accents, everyone wears the same suit. This brings up a bigger question: what's more iconic, the Excitebiker or the hills themselves? If it's just the course that people are attached to, then is it even necessary to include the character? After all, any reference to that game is with the course, not really the biker, at least that I've seen. A Super Mario Maker costume would be the only exception I can find, but that game also has the Famitsu mascot, a Mahjong tile, and Shinya Arino, a real person and host of Game Center CX, as costumes. Suffice it to say, the costumes don't hold any real weight. While there is an identity crisis issue, he can easily stand out as he's the only character who rides a bike. The fact that he's known worldwide also boosts his chances, as Sakurai doesn't like including characters that other regions aren't familiar with. Plus, he was actually considered at one point, which also puts him above the other contenders. Before we go, thanks to our patrons for supporting us. In particular, our super patron, the Duke of Dorks. You'll find a link to his channel in the description. Thank you for watching today's Rate That Character. If you enjoyed it, give this video a like and show it to your friends. Let us know your thoughts on today's character and suggest any future ones for the series. Subscribe to keep up with our content, and remember to return to the source.